I wonder if my parents know that I drink alcohol.
Well, they'll find out.
How do you think being in a boarding school affected your relationship with your family?
Oh, this was pretty easy. I appreciated every time I had with them. Just because I was away with them for so long.
Do you know you still smell the same?
What?
Like you still smell the same. Like when we're in secondary school, you still smell the same.
Really?
Yeah, it smells the same.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I remember a bad thing. If you like walk past me, I know that was fake.
That was me. Oh.
Like you and one other person that I know, like there, or maybe two other people I know that, like if they walk past me, I'd be like, that smells like this person.
Yeah. What about you? It made you more rebellious.
It just taught me how to block out a lot of things. Like like school was kind of like an escape. When I was at school, I didn't have to worry about anything going on at home. I didn't have to worry about, oh, my parents are arguing or my parents are this or that. Like I didn't have to worry about that when I was at school. It just established my individuality more. Yeah.
That's actually true.
There are certain things that one parent does better than the other parent. So like when it came to like feeling empathetic or sympathetic towards the whole, I don't want to be in boarding school, I feel, like I shouldn't be here. My dad was more empathetic with that.
Really?
Like he'll come, he'll bring Mr. Biggs for me, he'll bring chicken for me.
That is so I was
money
literally waiting to hear you say your mom.
Nah.
I don't know, maybe because, I don't know. It's like I said, it's the perception of Professor Wonk in my head. Of like his intense.
Oh no, they know my dad's name.
He's not. But no, your dad is great. Like we've obviously met a couple times, starting from the exchange program.
He's a funny guy.
Do you know your dad was who picked us up from the airport?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so funny because that's like, it was so funny because did he pick me and did he pick Connie too? It's just me and you.
Just me and you.
Because we came to my house, and it's funny because like my family had like this whole dinner thing and everything.
Really?
Yeah. Because that day was my sister's introduction, and you guys just happened to come that day.
Yeah.
But I remember at the airport, I knew my family weren't going to be there because I knew what day it was. And so I was like, they're not going to come, so I'm going to find my way somehow back home. And that's usually me. I'm usually not pressed about anything.
Yeah.
But out of all the parents like that would have showed up, your dad was there. I was so happy when I saw her dad. I'm like, woo! I'm not gonna go home with the crowd. Back to Kaduna. Her dad is gonna take us home.
Yeah.
And I vividly remember that, like, I think when your dad just like saw us, and I think he asked me if my family were coming. And I was like, no, I don't think they're coming because my sister is getting her introduction. And I think he just like was like, cool, we're taking you home.
Yeah.
It wasn't
on our way.
Yeah, it wasn't
a big, like,
it wasn't
it's not
a whole,
as if we're going the opposite direction.
No, he was just like,
way, so.
Now I have two people that I'm responsible for.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna go. One of the things that I appreciate about OLF was that a lot of people that you were friends with or had any kind of relationship, parents felt responsible for the other kid. So like whether or not if you were coming to stay in somebody else's house or you needed a ride home, I think just that association with that school, they kind of felt like they're your parent, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, which was cool. Something that we got out of it. And that's the thing with OLF too. You don't just know the person, you get to meet their family too. It's like you get to know them, you know who their families are. And even them too, they get to know you and your family and just your background. Last question. If you were in Nigeria, or like if you just happen to be in a situation like like your parents, would you have your kid go to a boarding school? And why? Why would you or why won't you have your kid go? Would you make, and maybe this is another part, would you let them make their own decision on which school they want to go?
Yes and no. So yes and no in the fact that the boarding school that we attended might be different from like another boarding school, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it might be different. They may eat better. They might have different kind of schedule. I would not send my kid to a boarding school because the kind of parents I want to be close to my kid. I want to have an everyday relationship with them. You know, when they go to college, they can be by themselves. They can go and do that. But then I also understand that like being in a boarding school, like I know how that benefited me.
Yeah.
The fact that like I can go anywhere in the world. The kind of parents I want to be very involved in my child's life. I want to know everything that's happened, like as much as they will allow me, right? So I don't think there's anything that they could learn in a boarding school that I couldn't teach them. So, you know, so I wouldn't put my kid in a boarding school. Maybe I would, maybe I would not. Like if they decided that, oh, you know, I want to try it out, but the moment they tell me, I don't like it here, I'm going to pull them out. You know?
I think so too.
I'm going to pull them out. What about you?
I think I would probably listen too. Like I think like you said, if something they want to do, I'll be like, okay, do it. If something you don't want to do, then don't, because they won't know if they don't like it till they try it.
Yeah.
But I feel like at least an experience I'll give them is, it's not like a boarding school experience, but I'll give them a boarding experience, meaning I am a huge, and I'm sure you too, like huge advocate for traveling to another place and experiencing new things.
Definitely.
I don't think it's too early to have an exchange. Like if you want to do as early as secondary school, experience something new, different, I'm always up for it.
Yeah.
One thing that I always appreciate our parents and our family for is that they allowed us to embark on this experience. How old were we? We were so young that our parents thought it wasn't about them. Like I felt like that was one of the most selfless things they did. Even without to pass, sharp.
Hey, Matthew.
Yeah.
Wave to the camera. Go like this.
You're talking about me or something?
No, it's not always about you. Okay, I think that's something that I appreciate that they did for me, was be so selfless to let me have an opportunity like that for myself. Because I don't know, just with the background that I come from, they would have in a reality ever thought something like that would happen. And I think that's a characteristics I want to carry on and have for my own kids, which is whether it's not really necessarily an opportunity, but something that I feel like will change the rest of their lives, I will let them do it. It's a risk, but it's only a risk they can take on their own. And sometimes, they could be too early for it and unprotected, but I think that I will still let them. But with the whole idea of going to a boarding school, like you said, it's their choice. If they want to,
if they want to, that's fine. But like,
and
that wouldn't be my first choice.
Yeah, I know, me too. That won't necessarily be my first choice, just because I think it's limited as to who they can be, because it's just a bunch of routines over and over again. I think you can get that kind of structure even outside of it. I would want them to be in an environment where it challenges them, because I think honestly, OLF just stressed me out and just really affected my mental health somehow.
I think overall, I'm very grateful that
I went
to boarding school.
Yeah.
Would I do it again?
Yeah.
I don't know. But I'm very grateful that I had that experience.
In a way, I will do it again. In a way, I will not.
Yeah.
Yeah. In academically, I will not. You know, I feel like I would have done better.
If you were in a
no shade.
If you're in a different school.
No shade. Yeah. But I think like the experience and the people, some of the experiences that have happened in my life would have never happened if I didn't go there.
Yeah.
So which I am always forever will be grateful for it. And with my kids, honestly, you never know till you have them.
Yeah, you never know.
Sometimes I would say I want them to do this, it's by choice, and then I might end up being the most protective human being ever. And I'm just like, I don't want you to leave this country. I don't want you to leave here. I don't want you, no. I might be, I just never know.
I never
Till
know.
that human shows up right in front of you.
Even like the discussion of like college and stuff is like, there's better out there.
Exactly.
And it's like, so if, like, for example, if they got into like a very nice school in the UK or France, like, I'm the kind of parent that I want to take you to France and like help you settle into your dorm.
Exactly.
Maybe even part-time live in France, because like I want to be close to you, and I know that you don't need your, like me, like this. I don't need to be around my parents. But like I want to be around my kids. Like, I don't know how our parents did it. But
I honestly don't know.
If I had kids, I want to be around them.
I don't know. I think it's just probably the whole idea of wanting better for your kid, that you're willing to let go of the environment they're in. But different. Here's a bonus question: will you pay for your kids' education?
Yeah.
I know.
Wait.
Here's the thing.
Wait.
I know.
Yes.
Here's the thing.
Yes.
Obviously, like some people else in the U.S.
They
see it as like a privilege
that
your parents pay for your education.
And
the funny thing is, Nigerians don't think of it as a privilege that your parents choose to pay for your education. It's like, you gave it to me, you pay for my school fees. You know what I mean?
But it's also the culture too. Like in American culture, kids start to work as early as 15, 16. In Nigeria, you don't get your first job until you actually graduate out of university. Nobody works when they're in school. Like an actual real job. So it's also the culture. Like here, they have like you start working early. You're able to be financially responsible by a certain age and financially smart. But like, in growing up in Nigeria, like, who has a job at 20? Like at 20, who has a job? Nobody.
True.
Like,
but then you're like, think of it like you're going to be a Nigerian African parent in a foreign environment. Like, what would be different? What would be the same?
It's just, so the way I grew up, right? Even if my parents paid for my education and all that, I don't take that for granted. There's kids that their parents pay for their education, but they go to school and do whatever. Like I'd hope that like my kids will not be that way, because being able to pay for your kids' education is a gift, right? So I'd hope that my kids are not like, paying for my school.
They expect it.
I got party today, but don't party tomorrow. I will.
I will sell you and get that money back.
I will ship you back to Nigeria.
Oh man!
We'll buy you first class tickets. But I'd hope that the way my parents raised me, like it wasn't we're so comfortable in our life that you can use less with yourself. Like I've never ever dwelt on the fact that my parents are successful, so like I have to, like, I can relax in life. I've never ever thought about my parents' money being my money, or my parents' success being my success. Like I've never ever thought about it that way, and I don't know why. Maybe it's also boarding school where
I think
you have
part of that.
You have individuality mentality. It's always like I'm thinking about me in my world and the world that I want to build for myself. I'm not really necessarily thinking about my,
True. And the funny thing is that even in Fatima, too, going back to that, there were a lot of kids that came from like really rich families. Like they did not have to be there. But being in Fatima, we all felt like we were the same. Like nobody felt like you were above anyone. We had the same struggles. We were allowed the same amount of provisions. Like, it was limited. Like we even had a limit to how much money we could have. I mean, you could find ways of having extra money, but it was the same. So I think, like, yes, it created that individuality where it was like, I don't care if your parents, like, if you in Fatima told me that your parents had this much money, I'm like, then what the hell are you in the same school as me? Like, our parents are all both able to afford it. So it's kind of like a standard that mindset that your parents had this, it wasn't yours. You had to work for your own success.
I have to work for my own success. Like, I'm never ever thinking that, I can relax in life. Even if I can, like, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Which I don't know how some people do that, honestly. But no shade to whether.
No shade. Spend your daddy's money.
Spend
your mommy's money, please.
As long as they allow you.
I feel like we could talk about Fatima.
Whatever. How many 29 minutes video have we done? And don't get it wrong, like we're both different individuals. Like we're very different, have our own characteristics.
What would you say is the most different about us?
I think it's probably, I don't know, how we relate with people is definitely different.
Oh yeah.
For sure. Like
I don't.
she's
I don't
a very,
people.
you're kind of like a 10-5% I will give you.
What is that?
Like you will give people 10-5% of you, like maybe meeting them, like your energy.
Yeah.
And me, I can give you like 90%. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
it's kind of like, it's different how we relate with people.
Yeah.
But what would you say is we're very similar?
I just say like our experience, attending the same, school.
Yeah.
Experiencing the same kind of like we're Nigerians living in America, we're immigrants like in a foreign country, like went
And
to
we're from
college.
the same states too.
Yeah, we're working like as like what will I say, as are we millennials or Gen Z? I don't know.
Gen Zs.
As like first generation immigrants people in America, like like we have similar experiences basically. So yeah. Matthew again.
I don't know. Will I say, are you more like optimistic of stuff?
Yeah, I'm an optimistic person.
I am not that. I'm a very pessimistic person.
No.
Like I'm a very this shit's gonna fail and whatever.
I'm very optimistic. Like I'm going to live soft life. Whether or not soft life wants me, I want soft life. Then I'm going to get soft life.
I mean, we both like soft life. It's just like, but like she's a very optimistic person, and I am very like straight up, and I always expect the worst, which is not a good. I mean, sometimes it's not a good trait to have. Which sometimes it really bites me in the butt. But like sometimes it's just what it is. Yeah, like, and no matter we're both in America, we usually in a way have different experiences too. Like and it's just what it is.
Yeah.
We finished how many bottles of wine?
2 bottles. 2 bottles.
And I have one I'm gonna open.
Alright guys. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to Faith's channel.
Yes.
I'm gonna put the link in the bio. Subscribe to my channel.
And
watch my video. I think I'm going to share this on Facebook. This will be the first video I'll share on Facebook.
All our secondary school teachers.
They should watch it. They should know how things affected us.
Yeah.
Know how like our experiences now.
Seriously.
Like it's a lot of things that people ignore.
Yeah.
And think it's not a non-factor. You just do and you're done with.
It is. It's pretty big. I think people need to be very empathetic towards people who are going through a boarding school experience like we did. It's honestly not easy. And in the next video we do together, I think we will more so talk about the psychological impact of things like this in our lives today.
Yeah.
See you guys. Bye.